Hello, everyone. It's GT time. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us, as always, is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Brandon Jones.
I'm back. Good to see you.
Daniel Bloodworth.
I'm back.
In the super seat this week, Brad Ellis.
Hola.
And making this all happen, flipping the switches, making the edits, Mr. Ian Hink.
Hi.
That's the spirit.
I was giving you an extra cushion this week, too.
I like
that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
You did? Okay, cool. So we're all here. We made it.
We did. You weren't here last week?
I sure I was here.
Oh, you said that you're back.
I can still be back.
Right, yeah.
All of us are back, man.
That's a point we brought up before, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm just missing a lot of GT times this summer, and I'm a little sad about it.
That's what the summer's about, is taking breaks, taking vacations. That's been our super seat question, is if you could go anywhere, where would it be? We've asked everyone but Matt Blair, but since Matt Blair is on vacation, I guess he doesn't even deserve to have that question asked to him.
Hopefully he's where he wants to be.
Yeah, I hope so. So, Brad, we have a new question for the super seat. What is the best animal?
Dogs
Okay.
are the best animal.
Hold on, you got to be more specific then. If you're just going to say dogs are the best animal.
I think that's a non-specific answer to a non-specific question.
This question is very specific.
What is the best animal? Dog
Yeah.
is a kind of animal, and they're the best.
Or why is dog the best animal?
Man's best friend, companions of humans. They're the co-op buddies in real life.
I think that's a kind of selfish answer.
Why is that?
Oh, because like, hey, my best friend is the best animal?
There's multiple dogs. Dogs are everyone's best friend.
Yeah, but what about animals that are great on their own, Brad?
That's cool.
What about a whale?
That's
Are
cool.
you telling me dogs are better than
Wait,
whales?
dogs can be great on their own. Why wouldn't they be great on their own?
Because Brad's defense of why dogs are great is just that they're subservient to humans.
No, he's
They're
saying that they're
pals.
great.
They're my co-op buddy.
It sounded like a really cheerful question when he first brought it up.
Yeah,
You're like,
what
oh,
are you
animals.
doing?
Like,
It got really dark.
Like that's what you're going for this time, Kyle. That's interesting. Animals, okay. It's like not games related.
Why do you
not
gotta
really
do
media
this?
related. Not really like exploring them as a journalist. It's just kind of like a silly, like cheery question.
Yeah.
And immediately he's just waiting, and you're like, dogs. Like, oh yeah, why? And it's like, what? Wow, you were just waiting for that. It didn't matter what he said. He could have said,
He's
you know,
always
dogs
got to
would-
do this.
He could have said
He
woodpecker.
He can't be
He could have
okay with
said
He has
something.
to
Polar bear.
unpack everything.
Dogs
at
is
him.
it's the worst answer. It's the worst possible
That's the
answer you can
best.
give
What do you want me to
question.
say? Penguins are the best animals because they're birds who can't fly and they swim.
Yeah, yeah.
There, are you happy now?
Like
No,
your
no, no.
whale, like your whale logic,
Yeah.
is like saying like, oh, the greatest astrophysicist in the universe is this dude named Marvin who just sits in a room but never shares any of his findings. He's the best, but no one will ever know. It's like, what's the point of that?
It's a more interesting answer.
It's a stupid answer.
A stupid answer to a
I don't think
stupid
it's a stupid
question.
answer.
It's a stupid answer.
So whale, you think is the best?
I mean, humpback
animal?
whales actually
No, no,
write
no.
songs.
I'm just saying whales are better than dogs. There's
Whales
plenty
are-
of animals that are better than whales even.
They write songs.
Look
well, not
forward.
writing, but
look
you know,
forward to
like,
this question
they
for
Think
the
create
of
next
the
few
songs.
dog
weeks.
from
They're not
Metal
just like
Gear.
bird calls.
That's going to be in Metal Gear Solid 5.
We got a lot of crosstalk there. What are you talking about bird calls for, Blood?
So
Just-
they're saying, yeah.
There's what? No, repeat it.
Whales actually like create new songs. They don't just like repeat the same things.
And dogs
They
create
pop
songs.
open Fruity Loops, and they write a song on their DAW
I've seen dogs sing. I've seen dogs sing.
Sort of.
on the internet.
But
Yeah.
they're trained to do that.
No, they're not.
Kyle, you are the worst. Why do
Kyle,
we have
you
to do
might
this
be the
every
worst
time?
person
No,
who ever lived.
I'm like what I'd like to do is I'd like
I'm
for
glad it's not me.
So-
I dodged a bullet.
All the new viewers are gone.
So Brandon, I like the purpose of that question isn't to be like, what's your favorite video game, Brad? To like get an video game insight. You know,
Right.
It's to like get an insight into that person as a person. We know Brad is like straight up boring now. He just
What's
like,
wrong
sucks.
with liking a dog that hangs out with you and being your friend?
Oh my god.
If you are still listening, I appreciate that you are willing to let me troll for this amount of
think
time.
You're
I think
bad at
what-
trolling.
I
What
love
we
it.
learned, just
I
annoying
love it
at
so
him.
much.
What we learned from all of these questions is not anything about the person that is asked, but just like we only learn about you, Bossman.
Yeah.
New depths of your irritating.
Everyone focus on Bossman. Look at me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
your answer is wrong to the question I ask you
Yeah.
every
There's-
single week.
there's Brad liking dogs and you not liking Brad's answer, and you not liking Brad's answer unfortunately takes up way more.
I'm afraid.
Time.
And we learn more about you than we do about anyone.
Like
Check
always.
the tape, haters.
Like always.
Brad could have answered the question. He could have said why dogs are greater, but like you guys get a fixed on it.
Greater to what?
He said they were man's best friend.
Co-op,
and you-
greater
Hang
to
out.
what?
No. I'm afraid that
No, greater to what?
you all have a whales.
To whales?
You all have a
A
weird,
whale will not go get my paper for me.
That is all I needed, Brad. But instead, everyone's got a Bossman complex. You're all
should have
stuck,
just
you're all
asked me
obsessed
that.
with me.
But
You're all
you went off
got
on
a
your
Boston
tangent. That's why. You don't let anyone answer.
Let's move on to corrections. Begin corrections music, please. Danny Boy 3001 has been putting time codes in the comments on YouTube. I'm going to try to do that myself this week, but I just want to say thank you for the weeks that you have done that. That's been really cool. And then people will be able to skip straight to corrections, their favorite part of the show. I called Ben Brad last week. Capcom Studio 1 isn't really the main guys when it comes to Resident Evil. That would be Studio 4, apparently. A lot of comments from our international audience pointing out that video games sticking so hard to $60 is almost exclusively a US problem. So, like, it's stupid when we complain about it. Like, even in Canada, they're, like, ridiculously higher and also different from present gen to last gen, 8th to 7th. So, like, when we're just, like, $60 is so much, we play, like, the cheapest price for video games in the world when you compare us to other nations.
Noted.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And also, like, it's very flexible, like in Japan. You can have lots of different prices. And so it's weird that everything is 60. Okay, Resident Evil Revelations, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil Revelations 2, Resident Evil 6 is how that timeline goes. Okay?
Okay.
Capcom's Facebook survey for the Resident Evil 2 remake, HD, was actually just very misunderstood. And so I want to read out what it was. It wasn't like, hey, would you guys be interested in this? It was actually like, what had just happened was there was like a fan announcement of like, hey, we're doing an HD remake of Resident Evil 2. And it was like Capcom gauging like, hey, should we destroy this? So here's what their actual words were. Enthusiasm for Resident Evil 2 remake is something we've been hearing from you over the years and has drawn some recent attention in the media. However, as the team owns the RE brand, we're not certain how we feel about this approach, and we would like to ask your honest and frank opinion about the Resident Evil 2 remake and what the brand identity is supposed to be about.
That is terribly worded.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
It gets real bad near the end.
So
there,
that's
like-
why that got reported as like, oh, Capcom's doing a remake HD, you know what I mean? When really they were just like, hey, should we take this thing down?
So wait, are they not doing an HD remake at all?
Oh, they are.
They absolutely
Oh,
are.
okay.
In fact, the most popular response to that question was Shia LaBeouf wearing a Just Do It t-shirt, which also explains why Yoshiaki Hirabayashi's shirt said "We Do It." It was just copying or responding directly to that most popular response on Facebook. So it was a really good inside reference. And correction music, please. A lot of talking. I'm excited to hear the panel talk.
Yeah.
So let's talk about game news. Press Play. This is a studio Microsoft owns, I believe. They did Max and the Magic Marker and more recently Kalimba. And now their next game...
Microsoft owns them?
I think so, yeah.
They put that on PC and stuff too.
That doesn't prevent them from being owned for
I guess
Microsoft. So anyway, they announced 3 games at once. I think this is really cool, especially because we just talked about last week how you can vote for the next PSN Plus game. So now what they're doing is they announced 3 games at once, and they said, we'll just make the game that gets the most votes.
They announced the potential for 3 games, but announced 0 games.
Right, yeah, they pitched 3 games.
Yeah, but I guess the thing is that each of these 3 pitches is very well formed. It's more than your typical Kickstarter, I would say. They each have like legitimate trailers.
They're definitely unique, yeah.
Yeah.
In that sense.
So they wasted time and then got in a fight and couldn't decide which one to do.
No,
That happens with every studio.
No, I don't, yeah.
What's going on? What do you mean no?
I have a
Insight.
theory on it. I don't know if
Sure.
there's any more information that you have, Mr. Bossman.
No, I'd love to hear your theory.
My theory is all 3 of these games are getting made. I mean, there's no way they're gonna put that much effort into something and then just like, okay, we're planning on throwing this away. Like they don't know if they're not going to do those other 2 games. They just want to know which game they can do first. And yeah, it's like, you know, a little bit like what Ian was saying, like. This probably happens at development companies a lot where like they're finishing something, especially like in the case of Overwatch or Blizzard's like, we have all these different ideas, what do we want to do? And then, you know, it's up to them to decide. And they probably looked at that situation and they were like, oh, we can make a headline out of this. Like any one of these games, if it was just announced, nobody would care. But just, if we actually, you know, package it in this way, And then like a couple months down the road, we can win-win for everybody. We're like, remember those 2 other games? We're making those too. And like, yeah, you know.
The downside to that is like, what if one of the games receives like 0 votes? They'd be stupid to make it.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't.
Go ahead, Bud.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this stuff just gets made all the time. We just don't ever see it. I mean, it's just part of the pitching process, you know, is to make something, you know, that can be presented and to, you know, it's kind of like with the RE2 remake. You know, it's like, okay, he's got his little booklet full of stuff, and he presents it to his bosses, and like, okay, can we make this? You know, and people are probably, you know, iterating on that kind of stuff all the time.
But the difference is when you go through that book so many years later, those are for like hardcore fans of that franchise that are like, oh, look at that crazy drawing. That's what that game could have been. Interesting. Everybody knows about these 3 games now. Like these are out, you know, so like fans can really get behind these. Like people don't forget stuff like this. Like you know, if those 2 games that lose, people are still going to be tweeting about them and still be like, we really want to see those games. And I think they know that. I think this was a media play more than anything. Obviously,
I don't think they would have to make them necessarily. Games
wouldn't have to-
canceled. I don't think they will.
them.
I don't think they'll do all 3.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be
Maybe
more.
2. 2 I could see.
It used to be a more regular thing at E3, even that you would see stuff in Nintendo's booth or whatever that never actually ended up getting finished.
So I want to talk about the 3 games in particular. We got Knoxville, Dwarka, and Karoo. Knoxville is like that's the one that's like the survival TV show, like reality show.
Right.
Dwarka is the one where it's like dwarves fighting waves. I guess that's our image back here.
Yeah.
It's 4-player co-op, just wave after wave, just being dwarves, being cool. And then Karoo is the weird one that's like nuts and bolts. It's you make your own vehicles. It's the only one that's in like 3D, I think, but maybe the others will be. It's the only one that really showed gameplay. Brandon, you said one of these is a clear winner.
Karoo.
Karoo is a clear winner.
It's just like what you said. It's a game. You're like, oh, cool. That's the game they're making. These other 2 are clearly like, you know,
concept art.
You know, Jim over there had a cool idea and drew these pictures. The other one's like, you've built that. You know, that's actually something that you can play.
Is Johnny Knoxville affiliated with that
No.
other one?
Not at all.
That seems really weird to me.
Yeah,
But they call it that, and it's a premise really similar to Jackass.
Well,
sort of.
again, his celebrity is probably something that's completely lost in the whole team. Like they just don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything to them. So when they think about the game and say the word,
Yeah,
It
it's just a
doesn't- it's
city
not
in
an
Tennessee to
association.
them.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
Press play. No idea.
I think Knoxville is the most intriguing idea, but I think it convinces me the least, as far as like that
Is
it'll
it-
actually be a complete experience.
Is it like Smash TV or whatever? Like back. that
Kind of. It's
arcade?
kind of like This War Is Mine mixed with like
Oh,
Smash,
Jesus.
like the
Right,
Running
because it's
Man.
survival. I
Ugh.
should have mentioned that. It's like you're
Like
yeah.
super
Like a
serious.
little darkest dungeon, it seems.
It looked
Ugh.
very.
Like-
It looked very serious. Yes.
Yeah, none of these sound good.
And the
To me.
Dworkin. Dwarka. I mean, that sounds great. Like they all sound awesome. Again, it's just they just showed a couple pictures where the other one was like specifically showing like building mechanics, you know, of like how you put these things together. Showed like 2 players hopping in and driving off in vehicles.
Because that's the thing, Brandon, is like, this is exciting. You know what I mean? To make it a vote, we're going to make the game that everybody votes for. When, yes, I feel like a lot of studios have pretty fleshed out ideas that you know, they've got to run with something. And, like, do you think this was a good idea? Do you think this will make them more excited for the next game?
Both of you need to weigh in on this. I'm going to start just by being devil's advocate and saying potentially no, not at all, because it's kind of tough to say it's exciting for a company to just be like, hey, everybody, we got these 3 things. I don't know. What should we do?
I'm not hyped really.
Whoa.
Like, because clearly, like, none of these. I mean, if you think about it, like, if I was really supposed to be excited about this game, and the people behind it were really excited to make it, there'd be no question what they would make next. You know, they would know, like, this one's the clear winner. We all believe as a company, but they're just kind of like, we're so whatever. You know, we're so mainstream right now. Like, we could do anything. Like,
All 3 are B tier.
we're the MacGyver of video games. Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're like,
it's
these are all B tier, and we don't care about any of
It's
them.
like-
Let's let the users decide.
Yeah.
It's like a Neo Geo machine, you know? It's like, am I going to play any of these games that I'm not interested versus this one, you know, cabinet that just has one game but is a way better game?
Unless it's got Burger Time on
No
it.
slight against Neo Geo, but
Blood, I need you to be excited. I need somebody excited about this. Like, don't you think they have more momentum now going into their new game, whichever it is, than
Yes.
they had with Kalimba?
Oh, yeah. I think, I don't think it has to be like that kind of weird indecisiveness. I think somebody just thought it would be a good idea to involve the community in this process that is usually an internal process. So I don't know. like I'd have to look at I didn't get a chance to look at the videos. I'd be curious, but from the descriptions, none of them stand out that much to me, except I guess the last one, since there's not a lot of things like that where you're building that kind of thing.
I mean, it's free publicity, pretty much. It got the game out there. We're talking about it on the show, so it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of branching off of the Kickstarter thing, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's that kind of thing of just like getting people engaged makes them care more about your game.
Yeah, but it's like
you don't have to pay
you
for
see
it
the
yet.
games, and you look. I hear about the games from you. I'm like,
So
I'm
you're not mobilized. You're not going to vote on any of these
no,
three
I don't
games.
care. I don't care at all.
I wonder what's going to happen with those other two audiences. Like, are they, if one's the winner and the other two lose, are those two audiences going to like bail on the whole thing, or are they going to like, oh well, I guess I'll be into Knoxville, even though I really wanted Dorka or whatever. Like,
That's a fair point, Brandon, because they are three very different games.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see somebody being a fan of one and not the others.
Sure.
so are you just splitting your potential audience up into 3 pieces of pie, and you only get one of those pieces, as opposed to, I mean, that's the thing. You asked me personally when I mentioned before, like that's just the vibe I get from this. Whereas, like, I do think they're getting, we are talking about this where we wouldn't be if they hadn't done this.
Yeah.
Simple.
You guys want to get some pie
Yeah, I want pie now.
in a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Just
are
one
you
piece
referring
down.
to?
He just talked about 3 pieces of pie, and I'm like,
Mentioned
yeah,
some
we
pie.
should get some pie. That's a good idea.
What else
Fair
is
play, Dad?
What else is a good idea is Disney Interactive being so engaging with their video games. I'm not feeling that. Anyway, D23 was this weekend. Brandon, you went. Brad, you went. You went to see them announce video game stuff at their big Disney-only event.
Yep.
What was announced?
I can't, just for the record, Infinity crushed the announcements of both Battlefront and Kingdom
Correct.
Hearts, and that made me really happy.
What do you mean crushed?
They
Excuse
actually
me.
showed new stuff.
Just annihilate. Just as far as Battlefront came out and mentioned one thing, Kingdom Hearts came out and mentioned one thing. They came out and mentioned many, 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 many things.
Yeah.
Like there were many different stages of their presentation.
So, like, what though? Like, how could you say they crush? I've never heard of Disney Infinity crushing anything.
It was
Consider
just
the source.
just in the size of the announcement. Like they came out and announced Big Hero 6 is going to be in Kingdom Hearts, which is a cool announcement, but at the same time, it's like
Brandon,
that movie just came out.
people went bananas.
I know they went bananas.
in that audience.
No, describe it. What happened when they announced that?
Like, first of all, when they said we're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts today, it was like a roar of
Sure.
screaming and applause and everything like that. And then they showed the concept art of Sora riding Betamax. People went ape shit for that.
So the
Really?
the concept of what Big Hero 6 means to Kingdom Hearts is really cool.
Correct.
Like theoretically, there's like an evil Baymax that you have to fight, and they showed a picture of that.
Yeah.
Of him battling him. So like that's really cool. As far as again, just the presentation of like them coming out, showing old gameplay, then just showing this picture, and then being like, okay, that's it. That's like all we brought to the show.
we definitely expected more.
And that was like Battlefront. They were basically just like, you're getting a new PS4.
Yeah, we'll get to that because
thing.
I think that's the biggest news. But I want to know why you think Disney Infinity is the biggest news.
They announced 5 new characters, because they hadn't officially shown the Episode 7 stuff. They had the Episode 7 actors come out on stage. They gave the exclusive giveaway of the show. It was like, as far as a collector, that was the reason to go. You get a Mickey figure and an exclusive disc that will not be sold in stores.
What's on that exclusive
It
disc?
was the last thing at the show. So they didn't do Kingdom Hearts last. They didn't do Battlefront last. They did Infinity last.
What makes this disc so great?
It turns you into King Mickey from Kingdom Hearts. It gives him a little King Mickey costume. Purely cosmetic. That's it. It doesn't give him any added abilities.
But first time Kingdom Hearts has been acknowledged in Infinity.
Yep, and if you collect all the figures in 3.0, you get what they call the secret unlock, and it's the Keyblade. So if you have the suit on with the Keyblade,
I did not know
then
that.
Mickey's running around.
So that's a lightsaber of this game, basically?
Correct.
Yes.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Shoots out like the fire and ice like he does in the game too.
Oh, man. And they demonstrated that with the gameplay, I guess,
Yes,
huh?
correct.
Okay.
And the guy from Kingdom Hearts came back out onto stage with Funaki and Blackbird.
Right, yeah.
Had his Keyblade out and did the whole thing.
Like
boy.
D23 was the perfect setting for Disney Infinity. That is
Right.
the right place to do it, and they killed it with all this stuff they announced.
So,
They did amazing.
Brad, compare the reaction to Kingdom Hearts 3 showing off Baymax. Compare that to anything that happened during Disney Infinity. Was there the same roar?
There was many roars.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of the roars came from the Kingdom Hearts stuff in Disney Infinity. Like, everyone was stoked, don't get me wrong,
Right.
for Disney Infinity. But when they showed, like, the Keyblade in the game and the outfit, they're like, oh, only you guys are getting this disc today. Everyone
Yeah.
went bananas. Just pandemonium. It's insane how big that franchise is now.
All this roaring has me thinking, lions are better than dogs.
Oh my god.
Like, right? Aren't they?
No.
Okay, but I do want to talk about Battlefront. I want to talk about these Battlefront.
They sit on their ass all day. They're
Yeah, lions
All
are
day?
largely
Yeah, lions are-
crappy.
yeah.
Also, they're like
lionesses.
the women do all the work. Yeah,
Yeah.
the lionesses are the best.
That's just
Lions
like-
are crap.
That's kind of a myth.
Lionesses
but
are
anyways.
lions.
Well, right, but
So I want to talk about the Battlefront announcements because it wasn't anything about the game itself. It was about these bundles.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, all they have to announce about this game
No,
is
wait, they talked about the game.
Oh, really?
Like
What'd they talk
the
about?
new DLC. What was the planet they're talking about?
Oh, yeah. They
Was
announced
it
they announced
Jakku?
just some sales details about Jakku, like when it's coming out.
Jakku is from episode
Episode
7.
seven, correct.
That's
And
DLC
that-
coming in December.
And then it's going
Yes.
to be free. I
Free.
don't think we knew it was.
If
gonna
you
be
pre-order it,
free.
you get a week early.
Right. So
I thought we already knew that.
we did know that.
I thought we knew that too. Yeah, I think they just it was
Yeah.
mostly just details. They showed off the Fighter Squadron gameplay again.
So these bundles, here's what's interesting about these bundles. It's not like, oh, look, it's a PS4 with Darth Vader on it. Not like, oh, look, it's a controller with funny colored buttons. The interesting thing is that it comes with this voucher of Star Wars classics. These include Super Star Wars, Star Wars Racer Revenge, which is a pod racing game, I think.
Yep.
Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, not the best Star Wars game where you get to fly a spaceship, and Star Wars Bounty Hunter, starring Jango Fett.
Yeah, that's a weird group. Also, I can't think of any other Super Nintendo games that have been put on PlayStation.
Never. You couldn't think of it because it's never happened before. Here's the thing. These are sporting enhanced graphics and trophy support. 3 PS2 games, 1 Super Nintendo game on the PS4.
Trophy, dude. Super Star
my
Wars.
God.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited about playing Super Star Wars again. Super Star Wars has some great cheats.
How did this happen? Will this keep happening? Is this as
Backdoor
crazy?
shady deals is how it's
Yeah.
happening. A
I
lot
mean,
of
they've
palm
been-
greasing, a lot of money.
They've been putting out a lot of back catalog Star Wars stuff, especially on PC, on GOG and stuff.
Never on PS4. Like, it's crazy that we have PS2 games running on PS4 with enhanced graphics apparently, and also a Super Nintendo game.
Well, don't we have more N64 games on Xbox One now?
True.
Than
Yeah.
Wii U?
Yes.
Yeah.
Step it up, Wii U.
So
But I
should-
mean, that's kind of a little weird because it's like specifically on the Wii U shop because you can still buy them if you go to Wii mode.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, we should tell Kotaku to rewrite that headline. But these games, they're not terrific. I mean, Bounty Hunter and
Super Star
Starfighter-
Wars is awesome.
So, like, do you think that was just like this? Do you think this deal took a lot of effort? Is my question. Do you think we can see more of this, or is this just like a hey, we need to make this happen, so let's do what we have to do to make it happen? And
I
it was
think
expensive.
it took effort to port
Sure,
those
yeah.
games. They had
Yeah.
to figure out how to make that work with their quote unquote enhanced graphics, which is probably just some upscaling and inner aliasing. But
And then, do you think this is a sell? Do you think this makes the bundle more appealing? These 4 games.
barely. Super Star
It's
Wars.
a nice bonus.
does.
yes, it's Super Star Wars and then 3 other things that don't matter.
Yeah, it's kind of
As far as
that.
the
Wait,
games.
people like Bounty Hunter, though. A lot of people like that
as
game.
as a fan, as like a dorky fan, it is nice because I think all this happened basically from Disney looking at this year and being like, what can we do? We have this whole well of stuff. What can we give out for free? What can we revisit? When are we showing Star Wars the series on the Disney Channel? What's the schedule or do we just keep Star Wars in everybody's brains all 365 days this year? And so I think the wheels might have gotten turning to port some of these old games before they even realized who it was going to be bundled with or what they were going to do. So I like that. I like the look at let's not just give you more crappy cosmetic DLC for Battlefront that you don't need, but actually look back at older games and be like, hey, let's go back and revisit so you know who Jango Fett is. So you remember. So as we were playing the Twilight of Republic playset and Jedi Starfighter at the same time, just so there is some cohesiveness to the stuff, and that Super Star Wars rules.
Yeah.
What makes it good? What makes Super Star Wars so good?
Super Nintendo platformer.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need to know.
And you're holding a lightsaber.
Yeah,
Not
there's-
all the time.
You can
Is
just
this
be Han,
super hard?
Luke,
you're
and
Luke,
Chewie, right?
yes.
But you can't be Leia.
I don't think you
you can
can.
be Leia. But yeah, it's a great platform. Again, the sound effects awesome because they just recreated the whole score and on the Super Nintendo. It was lots of great boss fights.
Yeah.
Cool Mode 7 thing. There was a X-wing mode and it was kind of like
Yeah,
F-Zero
fly
and
above
a
it.
Was it
land
speeder in that
mode.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopping over rocks and shooting wampas.
I'm pretty pumped on it. My feeling though.
Not wampas.
Tauntaun?
No, I used to shoot womp rats. Womp rats, sorry. Woo.
Dewbacks.
You shoot womp rats back home. They're not any bigger than 2 meters.
I like the system. I don't know what the deal is with that controller.
It's his chess piece, right?
That's his chest plate. Yeah.
I like the controller and I don't like the system.
Yeah, it'd be cool if we could buy that controller.
I'd like to buy the controller. and
The
I'd like the
reveal
controller.
of this console had a better video than Kingdom Hearts.
The Kingdom Hearts didn't even have a video.
yeah.
That was the thing. Like, that's what I meant to, like, I'm not saying the announcement itself wasn't big, but it was just like literally like, here's a screenshot.
Yeah.
And the whole presentation of Kingdom Hearts was very like, hello, are you excited about Kingdom Hearts? Cheer. So are we. Are you ready for us to announce something? Cheer. You know, and then they bring somebody
That's
else
what
on.
all of
Hello,
it
everyone.
was.
Cheer.
Every single thing they did there was that.
Here, remember this gameplay? As you know, with what we're doing with Kingdom Hearts, you're just like, show what you're gonna show. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Again, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it's a
Just playing to the audience.
presentation thing, or
Uh,
versus like this. You know, they had the pod that he's in Empire Strikes Back open up, and the console comes spinning out.
Well, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is not coming out for a while. That's why.
There's that.
That's true. It's a while out. Before we move on, I do get the impression though that we're not going to see an influx of PS2 games coming to PS4 or Super Nintendo games. You know what I mean? I think this is probably a rare deal. I'm not sure that we'll see this
I
kind of
think
continued
we'll see
support.
Super Empire Strikes Back and Super Return of the Jedi, though.
Oh my
The
gosh.
sequels.
Yeah, I think so.
And really quick,
Sure.
we're getting 2 characters in Infinity from Zootopia. We're getting 1 character from Good Dinosaurs, like a little caveman guy.
Spot.
Spot. And the 2
When is
characters,
Zootopia?
Judy and Nick. It's a
New Disney
animation film coming out. A little fox guy and a little rabbit girl who looks like a male person. We're getting the 2 main characters, Finn and the name I always forget from episode 7, the 2 leads.
Oh, Ren? Is it Ren?
Maybe. And Daisy is the actress that plays her. And that's going to be the episode 7 playset, which I'm assuming we're getting in December. And they named the Marvel playset, which I don't think we're getting until next year, which is going to be called Marvel Battlegrounds, which they haven't said anything more about that, which sounds like a very PvP-focused playset, which sounds cool. And it's going to be 4-player co-op playset for the first time ever. I don't know how they're doing 4 people. Maybe that you plug both. You plug 2 bases in.
I bet it's inspired from our Stark Tower sumo matches.
Possibly. That could have been the moment,
they
the light
watched
bulb
it.
moment right there.
Yeah. All right. Blood, thank you for asking what Zootopia is. We need that perspective. Nobody knows what
No one knows.
Zootopia is.
Which
Nobody
is-
knows what that is.
I just saw the Shakira gazelle that looks really kind of sexist.
Right?
And I was like, wow, I thought we'd moved beyond this, Disney, but okay.
Not animators, no.
Yeah.
This next one, you know what? I want to talk about this for 3 minutes and no longer. Skylanders Battlecast. It's a card game.
Wow.
This week, a card game for Skylanders is announced. Here's the thing. It's on iPad, and you take a picture of the cards, and then they come into the game.
Okay.
Oh boy.
This is
Wait, you actually buy cards and
you
then
buy
scan-
physical cards. Yeah.
There's the Skylanders card game, period.
Here's the problem. Here's a big problem that I can personally vouch for. Like, you can just print out cards and then scan those in.
Or just take
Probably.
a picture of it on a TV screen, right?
Yeah, like you're right. You could just put it up on your monitor and take a picture of that.
Right.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Yeah, there was a thing came out this year called Sick Bricks that was the same thing with figures that you just hold your phone up and then you scan the thing. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just go through a Toys R Us? Like, scan. I don't know.
The collector hoarding mentality. Kids want those things.
So let's take bets.
Or
Who,
to collect, you go over to your friend's house and he's got them all. And
Yeah.
you just ding, ding, ding,
who do you think
Yeah,
this will be?
People are wackadoo.
Do you think this will be successful?
Yeah.
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 Brad, where are you at?
Mildly. I
Okay.
think it won't be as successful as they want it to be.
I'll take the other stance.
No,
I think
right,
this
yeah,
is.
I
I,
agree with
think
both.
this won't be around next year.
Oh.
At least this like scan it and then it's in the game. That's absurd. Why are you not thinking this through?
Because this can be bought as a gift a lot more easily.
Sure.
Well,
I don't
and
know, man.
if they keep like lock and key on the images of the cards online, like all the images they release will be obscured, like the QR or whatever won't be readable.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, like unless you get bootleg pictures that people
Yeah.
put up.
Yes, people will do
12-year-old
that.
piracy rings.
Yeah. Bootleg pictures of Skylanders
By the end of
cards.
August 2016, Activision will no longer be supporting the Skylanders card game.
Yeah.
That is your claim.
As it is now.
Quick. Other card game.
Side bet.
Triple
Side
Triad. That we briefly talked about.
Triple Triad is on iOS.
Wait, they're putting out a game of it?
Yeah.
It's out.
Oh, sick.
It's out.
You can get it right now. You can be playing it.
Mm-hmm.
I
during
have
this
an
episode.
Android because I'm not a moron.
But you have to download it through Square's Final Fantasy app first, and then you have to play it.
Yeah, don't make me jump.
Classic
It's
Square.
like Play Online back
Yeah.
in the day.
Oh God, play online.
Brandon, in terms of the
Do you
of
want
the
it
bet,
to take 10 minutes before you play your MMO? Yes, please.
in terms of
None of this World of Warcraft instant playing nonsense.
the bet, the winner has to buy a pack of cards for the loser, who will open it live on the show and like go through each card.
Oh, okay, cool.
Before making new bets, you should probably finish your old bets.
This is in reference to Brandon, who has still not bought me the worst Infinity figure.
The worst meme.
Amiibo.
The worst
Amiibo, worst amiibo. Okay, so let's talk about Rainbow Six Siege, which was just delayed one month this week.
Okay.
Not a huge story, because I think it's not a huge game, to be honest. And this is what's shocking to me.
GameTrailers game of the show, wasn't it?
Game of the
Yeah.
show last year
It's
at
a great
E3.
reveal.
Yeah, a great
I
reveal.
still hold by it.
And I feel like it's definitely lost steam over the course of the last year
For sure.
and a half. I'm curious why you think that is.
It's tough because that game could end up being amazing. Like, I don't think it's saying anything about the game. It's just the way that the content in that game is hard to sell over an extended period of time. It's just a very multiplayer focused game, and it doesn't have something like Overwatch where you can constantly introduce new characters. You know, it's like there's no character. I mean, it's just these classes, and we've already played all the classes, so there might be more maps that we have to play, but I doubt at this point they're going to announce like more gadgets or something you can use. It's all just kind of like pre-order incentives and, launch date and like possible expansion announcements or something like that. But,
From what you've played, are you excited about it?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm excited to play that because I always played at events, so like I don't know the guy next to me might not speak English, and I'm really excited about playing that game with 3 other friends and really committing to like an evening, getting Huber in there, getting you in there. And
What
like,
I think
okay,
would be
let's-
fun,
let's
like when
plan this.
back in the day when I played SOCOM a couple of times, because I got the Ethernet adapter for my PS2 from being a beta tester on Final Fantasy 11.
Nice.
That was the only reason I was able to do it. But there was this kid that was like 12 that was like took charge of the whole squad and was like leading everything. Real potty mouth too, but he had a great mind for tactics. I want that in this game. I want like
Right.
a little 7-year-old to be like, "All right, breach."
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's probably just a game that has a hard time with the year-plus media blitz, it just by nature.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the reasoning behind the delay. Ubisoft's own words, we felt there are adjustments and improvements we can make, including improving the co-op experience across all game modes, weapon and gadget balancing, as well as menu and interface navigation. So what's weird is usually when we get a delay like this, it's pretty, it was going to launch in October, now it's in December. No, yeah, I guess that's right. Anyway, it was a month delay, like a month and a week basically is how long the delay amounts to be. It's rare this late in the game that we get such specifics for why it's delayed. Do you know what I mean? Why do you think they would choose to do that, Blood?
Yeah, I think they want to talk about exactly what's improving, because I think that has a lot to do with the feedback they've gotten from the alpha and from Gamescom and all of these other things that they've been doing. So it's not just, oh, this game is taking too long. It's, hey, we've been listening to you guys, and if you guys maybe wrote it off, hey, wait and see, you might like the final product kind of thing.
Yeah, just like menu and interface navigation to me is definitely a feedback thing, because that's something you design. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
been designed, and that's not like a thing where it's just suddenly internally you're like, oh, our menus look bad. That's something you get from feedback, I feel like. Brad, do you think it'll be worth it? Do you think it's a good idea to
I think it's a
delay
very
it?
good idea to delay it.
Okay.
They need to take their time with it and polish it up. Because if they're releasing it this December or whatever, this winter, there's already a ton of games. That game needs to be the best it can be if it even wants to have a chance.
You gotta
Because
compete.
Call of Duty is going to still be doing gangbusters at that time. So they're kind of in a bad spot. Honestly, if I was them, I'd delay it.
And there's
Sure.
I don't remember the name of it, but it was hilarious. I saw somebody like that had they'd pitched like a similar game that they're working on. It's like they exactly copied the Rainbow Six Siege. Like there's already copycats in the works out there.
Oh, that might come out sooner than December is what you're saying?
Maybe I don't remember the name of that game, but I just remember watching a video. I'm like, you guys are just a Rainbow Six Siege that doesn't look as good.
Yeah. Yeah, just get out, Rainbow Six Siege. Good luck to you. Good luck to the team on making it happen. But yeah, I think it was probably shown a little too early. I think if it was like at this year's E3.
Yeah.
Because you always want to like elevate a game's campaign. You're just like constantly introducing new things. And every time I've played a match of this game, I'm like, yes, Siege.
I also think
It's good times. I just had fun, but I'm not going to talk about it when I get back. You know, it's just kind of like, yep, reaffirming this game. Can't wait to play it.
Yeah, nobody's
Excited
rubbing
for
their
launch.
hands together for the launch trailer. You know, nobody's like, oh, I can't wait to see that next
There's
trailer.
nothing they could do with it, you
Yeah.
know, unless they did some crazy, you know, like live action thing or just some other like, hey, wake up everybody, remember this game. We're done. This is it. We're ending the campaign. We're finished.
Yeah.
Until DLC stuff. But there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. For me, I don't find this game interesting, but I really, really do love like open, honest communication. Anytime people say why something is happening, I think it's great. I think it's a great thing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it.
And from Ubisoft, no less.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's
Like,
crazy they were doing that.
maybe this is because they learned their lesson with
Assassin's
Unity,
Creed.
you think?
Yeah.
Now they're always going to be like, we're delaying it, and this is why, so you don't get mad. at
Yeah.
us.
Two great things before we end the conversation.
Sure.
Two reasons this game rules.
Okay.
One, you have like so many options. I almost get nervous playing it, where I really feel like I have to know the buttons. I have to know what my class does because like the team's really going to be like looking at me depending on situations, and I'm not going to know if my class is really really key towards this mission until I like get in the room and realize like all the defenses that they're using. And two, this game is tough, man. If you're in a firefight and guys are like breaching a wall and like running in and stuff like that, you get one shot. It's over. You're dead.
Oh, yeah, that's Rainbow Six. I do like that.
You're gone.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not just kind of like, oh, I'm going to spawn here and just run back in.
Right.
It's like when those bolts start flying, like it's scary to pop your head out of a hallway and look and like try to get a shot. There's so many times where I would just like, oh, I kind of see it dead. Be like, and then go back and like, you know, see from his perspective and like the guy's really good with it. You know, I play more console stuff and like he had a mouse and just, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Saw the top of your head pop out, and that's all you needed.
And I like that sort of, I don't want to use the word realism, but, you know, just you die faster.
Yeah.
A bullet hurts like a bullet should.
The whole thing just
Yeah.
means more.
Yeah.
But can be repetitive and compared to something. I mean, even like with Division, which didn't get that much buzz at E3. Like I got to play that and Rainbow Six at the same time, and just that got way more press than Rainbow did that day. Because it was just like, yep, this map's great. Like, oh, new map. Okay, we got in. All right.
It's
Ready
a tough
for launch.
situation
Let's
to be
do
in.
it.
As always, just, you know, hold on about launching your game, about announcing your game. Just hold on. Mm-hmm. Look at Fallout 3, Fallout 4. Look
right.
at what Fallout 4 is about to do. Like, don't announce your game too early.
Real quick,
Yeah.
sort of live correction. I'm not sure where we came down on this, but oops, I hit camera 4. That's my bad. Live correction there too. Yeah, live correction. I'm about to cut to black. The Final Fantasy Portal app is on Android.
Hey, did you get Triple Triad?
Yeah, I'm downloading it right now.
Okay, we want your live impressions by the end of the show.
I will give you these impressions.
Okay, cool. So let's
Worry
move
not.
on to this is kind of dismal story. Big names leaving Amazon Game Studios. Let me get through these names. Clint Hawking left this week. He was creative director of Far Cry 2 and Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Eric Nyland, we talked about him on a prior episode.
Yeah.
He is the author. He wrote several Halo novels, and also was like he worked at Microsoft Game Studios, like developing like Bibles, like game Bibles, like just setting up lore. Just writing stuff we'll never ever be able to read. And then he was director of narrative design at Amazon. And Jonathan Hamill, who was lead technical designer and senior designer on the Tomb Raider reboot, and he was principal game designer at Amazon Game Studios. All three of those people left this week.
And none of those things you credited had anything to do with Amazon.
What do you mean by that?
Correct.
I mean, you just said that they were known for these things that had nothing to do with Amazon.
Oh, right.
No. Sorry.
So I'm saying, like, the Amazon did not give them a chance to make their mark any more
None
than
of
they
these
already
said
had.
comma. And while they were at Amazon, they did this amazing thing.
Sure, but I mean, like Eric Nyland's title was director of narrative design at Amazon Game Studios.
Yeah, for what game?
Oh, for a
for
game
any game.
that's never been announced yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe. Sure.
So that's what's crazy. These huge names were hired. We talked about it like, oh my gosh, Amazon is hiring up. They're doing something crazy right now. And then suddenly this week we learned of firings. We learned of people who are like leaving before we've even seen like what came out of that year.
I mean, that stuff's been going. I mean, they've had that going for like a year and a half.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Is this
It's
weird?
a very bad sign for that. If people are leaving like that,
Yeah.
It's not good, especially for a brand new company that has a lot to prove.
Right. Kim Swift is still there. Apparently, she's going to make a big announcement soon. But yeah, this is definitely like. Do you think there's still a game
I think
there?
Garnet Lee is actually there right now too.
Yes, but he's like we see him every week. He hosts their Twitch show,
Okay.
and like he'll do stuff like that, which is funny. That show is it's encouraging. You know when you see
Why?
I should not have said that. I'm digging myself into a little hole here. You know when you see someone who's like not doing great in views, and you're like, oh, this makes me feel better about our views.
Oh,
Right.
of course.
So that is why that show is encouraging.
Oh boy, I like it. This is the true Kyle.
I'll see, yeah.
Yeah, that's so spiteful. and
Corporate
weird.
Kyle.
Oh my God. So, Brandon, is there anything to take from this, or should we not be reactionary? Like, this is the kind of thing where I hate reacting to.
I remember, not to bring in something random, this might seem like a tangent, but I'm good for those sometimes. I remember like hearing about Kingdoms of Amalur for the first time and being really excited. Like, wow, there's a lot of crazy people that are attached to this game. You know,
Yeah.
like lots of big names that are coming in, and then that, you know, that game turned out the way that game turned out. And I remember thinking like, yeah, it's not just that exciting when you hear about a bunch of cool people getting together, because they've never worked together before, and you don't know what's actually going to happen in that situation. Like, I'd be much more excited about the whole team of one game moving on to something else. You know, it's like, like Naughty Dog just completely moving from, you know, Jack and Daxter and just like, nope, we're going to do something else. Like, oh, that's really exciting because, you know, like that team works well together, that director, that actor, that producer, that director. I think they all came in having something in mind, and it didn't work out, and so they all took off.
Chrono Trigger only happened once.
That's true.
That only worked once.
Chrono Trigger was a lightning bolt.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Do either of you have feelings about this? I feel it's always weird, like reacting to like people getting fired from a project we've never even seen results of.
I mean, were they fired or
They
did
left.
they leave?
Sorry, they left.
They left
right.
on their own
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, them leaving just kind of says to me that they feel like they have better opportunities. And yeah, none of this Amazon stuff, again, like that's been out there. They've been putting games out for a year and a half or so, and it doesn't seem to have any kind of buzz. In fact, it seems to have just decreased since they launched. So, yeah, nobody's talking about those games that I know of.
Right. We'll see. I still believe there's a huge game at Amazon Game Studios.
Hey, real quick before
Yeah.
what is that in that image, top right? Is that a hat?
It's like a drawing tool. It's like a
Like an eraser, I think. It's like a handle. You can grab it like that.
No.
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
Probably.
or a protractor.
I think it might be a protractor.
Similar to that, yeah.
I
Yeah,
see.
just for like drawing
Okay.
I forget
curves.
what it's called.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? Anyway, sorry for those listening.
For listeners, the Amazon Game Studios logo has a bunch of interesting drawing tools surrounding the words Amazon Game Studios. I'd give the logo an 8.5 out of 10. It speaks to me as a creative, though it's a little sloppy, hard to recognize from 50 meters away or more. I'm curious how the panel feels about the logo itself.
They probably use that tool to make the
what
smile.
have I done?
Yeah, what did
What
you
have
do?
I done?
They use that tool to make the smile.
Oh yeah, that's what that's for. That's what you do. You make the Amazon logo with that. It's the Amazon stencil.
So let's move on to, well, you're the one who started this conversation. This week, here's what we have. So I have a question for the panel. You're the one who started this conversation, in parentheses. With Nintendo being in a weird, rough place at the moment, and Reggie announcing that they will talk about the NX next year at E3, one can assume that it will then come out in 2017. Not safe to assume that, but one can assume that. Does the panel think it would be a mistake to release a console in the middle of the PS4, Xbox One generation? It seemed between a misleading name and being a slightly off-cycle added to the Wii U's commercial failure. Could another somewhat off-cycle release more harm than hurt? Please discuss. That's from Tyler Gardner.
Well, the talk of off cycles is kind of... Cycles have gotten all screwed up anyways.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk
sort of
about
got
primarily,
back
is
into a
cycles.
cycle with PS4 and Xbox One releasing at the same time, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're not on the cycle really that, there's not like a consistent 5 years or whatever. If anything, Wii U probably did release on cycle and the others took too long, But But yeah, it's weird to see where they will be at. I mean, I think PS4 and Xbox One will be around as long as their predecessors, if not longer. So it may not make that big of a difference because it's going to be a while before we see anything new out of them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be late 2017 or late 2017. The earlier the better. If they're not going to be that much more powerful.
How about 2016?
Possible.
I would think it's possible. Yeah.
That's my bet. But I am more curious. I want to talk about console. Brandon, do you believe in console cycles? Do you think that it would be a mistake to release it in 2016?
No, I don't think that would be a mistake.
Why?
I don't think it's going to affect anything. Like I don't think anyone that is actually going to fork over the cash to get an Xbox One and PS4 that hasn't already is going to think of the NX in that vein at all. Like they're going to be like, okay, I'm either getting the NX or I'm getting this. I'm either going to buy into whatever gimmick Nintendo's going to sell with the new console, or I'm going to finally upgrade to this awesome, console. Because I'm like, I'm not just happy like playing Madden or playing old, like last gen Call of Duty. Like I really want to play new stuff. I just don't see them. I think it's smart for them to just kind of separate themselves from that market and realize like we're going to make something that maybe isn't as powerful, doesn't cost as much money as developing the Xbox One or PS4 does, but we know our audience will like it.
So let's say there is no gimmick. Let's say it is just as powerful as the PS4 and Xbox One. That's dangerous, right?
I don't know if I can even enter that into my mind. Literally, like that thought came from your head towards mine and just bounced right off.
Not willing to
It was just
consider
like,
it.
No,
It should be
That's
more
not gonna
powerful
happen.
than the other two.
Okay,
It'd
what
be a
if,
smart move, so they have padding for later on.
what if it's more powerful? Do you think it's the right time to release now, or do you think they should wait
I
to
think
coincide more?
Getting that out whenever they can is a good idea. The Wii U is a financial failure. Like, software-wise, has rad games, but that is a disaster system for them. It's doing terrible. They need something new. So, and, like, they're clearly doing that. They're holding off all their IPs now, pretty much. Like, after holidays, we don't know anything about Wii U, pretty much.
Except for Zelda.
Supposedly. It's
Yeah.
going to be a Twilight Princess situation. It's going to be on NX also.
Brad seems very certain about this.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Metroid will be
well,
on NX.
it may not have to necessarily be. Well, maybe. Yeah, it's weird because Nintendo's been very good about doing backwards compatibility, so it could be possible that it would work, across both systems on the same disc or something like that. Something crazy.
Could, yeah.
Whoa, I don't know. That takes a lot of work to be the same disc, and then that was I don't know.
Two different versions?
Yeah, because basically, being backwards compatible with the Wii U is going to be an issue. Like how many games
if they don't
rely
use
on
the tablet, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like that thing is really
But
going
a lot
to.
of games
How many
don't.
games really do
Yeah.
rely on that?
What I just play? I don't know. Like you're right, because like Bayonetta doesn't.
Donkey Kong
doesn't rely on it. But I think like there's just gonna be issues. Maybe like you
Like
just
Captain Toad, you don't need it.
you do,
For what? Oh, the cannon? You can just aim
and
on
you,
the
and
screen.
you gotta blow into it to make the things rise
you don't
up.
need that. Just
They
make
just
a
patch
button.
it out.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you get,
they could do that.
Captain Toad you needed a lot. Oh, Kirby you needed a ton for.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
yeah. That's just completely a touch game.
I don't know. I think NX won't be backwards compatible. That's my theory. But I don't think they have to worry about console cycles. I'm kind of with
Yeah, they're
everybody
just
on
doing
that.
their own thing, kind of. They
Yeah.
have been for years.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a big issue. Honestly, I don't think it's hard to match what the PS4 and Xbox One are doing. They're not powerhouses. And that's why I think this console cycle will be shorter than most others. I think that I'm with Brad that I think that Nintendo should release now, but I think they also should release again when the PS5 and Xbox 2 are there.
That's a slippery slope.
Well,
That's like
actually,
Sega style.
the thing is, yeah, it's weird because the way that they've been talking about the way this new system will be set up, talking about it being more of an operating system than hardware.
Yeah.
I mean, there is they talk about it a lot in terms of like it could be scalable, and it's like, oh, you could get the cheap one or the more expensive one depending on how powerful you want it to be. So in that sense, it could be, that they are ready to release a competitive system in 3 years, and you still keep using all your games.
I think that'd be very cool. But again, that's just all. I like talking about the future. I love talking about the future and what it may or may not be. That's fun.
But the problem with Nintendo is whenever you talk about like what like Blizzard's going to do, what EA's going to do, what Ubisoft's going to do, even like Square Enix or Konami, it's like I can think like, okay, based on their past history, like I think this would be a smart play for them, or like this would be a really bad move if they did this. With Nintendo, it's always like I'll see. I don't know. Like it's just so impossible for me to predict that company, especially with a new console. It's like whatever they do, I think is going to be way more built off some wacky idea that, wacky good or wacky bad, that somebody had in some development meeting, as opposed to like them actually looking at like, this would be the smartest.
Well, and the other
decision
thing,
for this
the other
company.
thing with that too is not only what they release that you never saw coming, but then the stuff that you find out they're experimenting with. Like when they talked about the 3DS and like, oh yeah, we were playing around with 3D screens with Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Before the GameCube release, I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's why I think it's not fair to say wacky idea someone brought up.
Well, look at what Miyamoto brought to E3. Like that wasn't based on like we went through our community and we found out that this camera-based defense game is clearly like what people are clamoring for right now. It was something that Miyamoto was working on.
True.
That's it.
Yeah, Nintendo's
so
plenty of wacky ideas. They're
You know
the
how
heart
mad that
monitor.
makes me. Oh man, no, but I mean, like with the heart monitor, that was like an initiative. There was a boardroom of people who said we need to be working on this kind
And
of
like,
thing.
what happened?
Yeah, I mean, they're still working. Quality of life is still coming out.
Oh, that
eventually.
whatever that is, yeah.
The thing that watches you sleep.
Just let it go, Nintendo. Just
Nah,
make games.
I'm okay with something. I'm okay with Nintendo watching me sleep.
I'm curious. I'll try whatever wacky thing they have, but it's going to be all of their new decisions. The new Metroid is going to be built off of that, of whatever gameplay mechanic that is. If they decide to do another Metroid, they might not. They never made maybe another Metroid again. I have no
They could,
idea.
yeah.
I can't predict anything that company does.
No, Brad's right. Metroid for NX.
I think they're
Yeah, absolutely.
saving it for NX,
Yeah,
but they easily could not make it. Could
don't-
have made F-Zero.
very true. Miyamoto doesn't have the control scheme he wants yet. Okay, so let's do bets. Time for bets. Here's our bet this week. Madden NFL 16. Oh boy.
We
don't
don't
need to
actually
write
make
down?
bets.
Ooh, I didn't even bring the cards. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna do them live.
Yep.
Well, we could all write them down. Yeah, that would be fun. All right, so since Brandon, you'll be going first, you can write down your bet first. Anyway, let me explain what's going on before we get into that. So Madden NFL 16 is doing this weird, I hate this kind of thing, like super expensive ad campaign for Madden NFL 16 the movie, which obviously doesn't exist, but that's the name of what will happen, what their big trailer will be this year.
Okay.
Do you remember last year they had a genuinely funny trailer?
Was that the one where like
Oh yeah,
James
yeah.
Franco's brother like burnt the house down?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And like, yeah, they
It
were
was-
like,
it was funny, yeah.
exactly. So they're like, hey, let's spend twice as much money and get twice as many views this year.
Yeah.
And so what we're betting on is at this point next week, how many views that video will have on YouTube, whatever Madden NFL 16 the movie is.
And when did it come out?
It hasn't come out yet at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
They've put out 2 teasers.
How
Two
many-
teasers for their stupid commercial.
Yeah. How long will it have been out by the time of the next episode? Like when's it
week,
coming
right?
out?
The game comes out on Tuesday, Madden NFL 16.
So this will probably be Monday, you think?
Yeah, I bet it'll come out Monday. There's no release date on the teasers for the trailer. Go ahead and write that down.
What happened to the cards you made?
I don't know. I guess I left them at my
I
desk.
watched you make them.
Yeah. Brandon, don't put too much thought into this. I'm going to take the pen away from you.
Quick fire.
2 days.
You get a ton of views in 2 days on YouTube. I feel like we can say that.
No helping.
Okay. Ian, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I got
I'm just
nothing to go off of.
what do you what could a Madden game do, Ian, to get you interested?
To get me interested?
Yeah, like I'm trying to imagine the Madden game Ian would play.
Oh boy.
Blood, you've had so much time to think. Brad, have a number in your mind. I don't want to see you
I have
thinking
one.
once you
I
hold the
have
pen.
one.
Okay. This is so frustrating.
I guess it would have to go like some kind of fantasy, like NFL Blitz. I mean,
I love NFL Blitz.
The real answer is nothing.
There's something. I gotta believe I can make a Madden game that you would play.
nudity.
Can you play as John Madden? Can I be John Madden?
female teams where you can create your character and then they have like lives
I think you can do that.
outside of The football.
There was like
if you didn't have to play any football, that'd be a good start.
Yeah, there was like a game called NBA Ballers where the lifestyle was part of the game.
Oh, but that sounds terrible to me.
Yeah, it's a bad idea for a
Oh,
game. To be honest.
God.
All right, Brandon, go ahead. What is how many views will this Madden NFL 16 the movie have?
2.4 million.
Okay, I said 10 million.
Whoa.
Brad.
I went lowball 1.5 mil.
Okay.
I guess I'm
can't
really
see
lowball,
these at all.
600,000. So.
600,000. Okay, let me lock those in.
Okay.
Thanks, guys, for working with me there.
I can't believe I'm like really pulling for a Madden launch trailer. That's
Yes!
that's new.
Oh, I realized what it would be. From Software makes it, and it has Dark Souls or Bloodborne combat while you're playing football.
Oh, that's so cool. You
like
did it,
you,
man.
You like fight each other, and there's a ball involved somehow.
Yeah,
so it'd be
but
more
like-
like Rocket League, but with like Bloodborne combat.
you can only evade when you have the ball. Like
And
you can't attack.
The teams are like disgusting manifestations. Like they're still the Ravens
Of your own
and they're
tortured
still
psyche.
the Buccaneers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But they're like sick versions of that.
So the Ravens would be
the
like
Ravens
the crows
are
in it.
awful
Yeah.
crows. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all like crazy versions of the. Oh man.
the Giants
yeah,
are
this would be
Giants.
sick.
Oh man.
Dude, all right, that I would play.
This is cool. We did it. We solved two problems at once. Let's talk about last week's bet. So Zombie released this week on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. This is Zombie U, of course, but without the U, and I guess up-res, but who knows. When our bet was on the official Ubisoft Twitter account at Ubisoft, tweeting about the release this week. How many retweets and favorites would it have total? Blood bet 287. Jones bet 166. I bet
Whoever was in my
399.
chair.
Oh yeah, you
Matt
were in-
Blair.
Matt Blair bet 166 for you, and Huber in the super seat bet 555. Let me read you this tweet from at Ubisoft. Zombie is on PlayStation 4. RT to win this custom console.
Wait, that was the second one. But anyways, the other one was just about as high.
Oh yeah, the bet wasn't for the first one. The bet in its own languages, we're going with the one that has the most total.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going for the first one.
Nope. So it had 3,157 retweets and 840 favorites for a total of 3,997.
Call to action.
Yeah. Retweets and favorites.
Nobody wants that game. They want that system.
Yeah. So they pranked us. They heard about our bet and they said, you know what? We should figure out a way to demolish everyone's bets.
You wish.
Michael Huber wins with his bet of 555. So that's
Super seed.
a point for the super seat. Totals now: super seat 11, Bloodworth 13, Brandon Jones 5 with a lightning bolt, Bossman 6. Brad, what you've won today? You get to promote your Twitter handle and yours alone.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Exclusive.
You get to promote any video you want, and you get to close us out with your trademark catchphrase.
Okay, so I am at Bradley Ellis 87. I'm gonna recommend for the video this week, First 15. It's
Wow.
back in action. Everyone's favorite duo, Mike Huber and Kyle Bossman, team up to play. What was it, Aragon?
Yeah.
Just awful, just terrible.
Wait, did you watch it?
No, God no.
Oh, okay. Because here's the thing: is we went out of the office and we said, Brad, this game is good, and he said, no, it's not. Shut up, guys.
I'm gonna recommend this video. Did you watch it? God no.
People love it, but I sit next to these two jokers all day, so I don't need any more of that.
God no.
Sure.
So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and as always, be excellent to each other.
I love.